inside, see the light and more. Nothing so strange, only rearranged. Don't be taken back. Let's go. See inside, see the light and more. See inside, see the light and more. See inside, see the light. I wonder, do you realize? See inside, see the light and more. See inside, see the light and more. See inside, see the light and more. See inside, see the light. I wonder, do you realize? See inside, see the light and more. See inside.
Hello everyone, hope you're well this evening. New software, always messing with new software. Same software, different routing. Everything sound okay from the microphone? Give me an exclamation point, please. That exclamation point tells me you heard exactly what I'm asking and responding accordingly. Let me know. Everything sound good? Thank you, Melanie and all, for the exclamation points. I get the point. So tonight, I have no idea how this is going to go down, as I usually don't. I have some intuitive inkling, because I'm the one that is the wellspring of making the video and the presentation. So I have an idea on some level of where this is going to go. But I, as a viewer, participant as well, I'm here for the ride, just like everyone else. Center of Light Burst, Center of Light radio I took a break from after 7 years every Monday night. I built a listening audience of over 4.5 million people, right around 5 million. I'm grateful. Doesn't swell my head. It just shows me the path that I'm on is correct. Why? Because it brings me joy, and in turn, it brings other people joy. This is what tonight's presentation is about. Suicide control. I had no intentions, maybe just a little, or an idea where this may go, about suicide, meaning the taking of one's physical life. But I have no doubt Spirit's going to go there. And I'm getting emotional. I did three sessions today. And all three of these dealt with the same thing. Taking one's life, not necessarily mortally wounding themselves, but what is basically killing you inside. Center of Light burst. Took a break from Center of Light Radio for just a little while. Probably going to pick it up again sometime in the near future. I ask you to please go to YouTube if you have not already and look up Center of Light Radio or youtube.com/Center of Light Radio and subscribe to my page. It would help me greatly to become more visible as I take my work/play, my heart, my love, my life out on the road to help elevate the consciousness of humanity and unite the world. Sounds like a big mission? Goddamn right it does. I'm the guy for the task, or at least one of them. My first presentation out and about, I've been waiting for 25 years. Patiently, diligently I worked. Diligently I played very hard. Diligently I showed my intention to the universe to make me a channel of your peace. I'm going to be speaking in Orlando, Florida this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, at the Orlando 2018 Spirit Fest. I'm excited. And a bonus, I get a day at Disney for free. Love it. Thank you, Spirit, for the extra perk. Please go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. If you have some extra coins in your pocket, I do work as a full-time musician. You can always go to centeroflightradio.com or KeithAnthonyBlanchard.com. Click on that donate button. Put some love in my bucket. I do this because it's my heart. And often when we donate ourselves to a cause, the energy of abundance moves through that person and spreads it. Money and abundance is like blood. If you don't spread it, it will clot. I like acknowledging everyone. It's my heart. Zveta, Jackie, Melanie, Emily, Katerina, Robert, my brother Robert, Jimmy Folk, Carl Laperouse, Vicky, Natalie, Tiffany, Jane, Kelly, Donna, Lee Erickson, Keith Evans, Denise, Amy, hi Amy, Robert. So I had a session with some people today, 3 of them in fact. And it was resounding within me. I must do a live broadcast about this. Suicide control. Again, it does not have to do with taking your life, but yet. Ever since we were born, we are no doubt moving toward our inevitable mortality. Take that in for a moment. Ever since we were born, we are no doubt moving toward our inevitable mortality. It's very important that you honestly look at this. Look at it. Hold it in your hand. One day you are going to die. This is not brought to you with the intention of creating a fear in you, but to show you the truth and the reality that you will come upon sometime in your future. No one gets out alive. Ever since we were born, we are no doubt moving toward our inevitable mortality. Are you killing yourself? Or are you dying gracefully? So we really have one of two choices. We can either get busy living or we can get busy dying. It's the only choice you got. It's the only choice you have. Get busy living or get busy dying. Everyone knows my work. They know that I love reading definitions. I'm a wordsmith. Words have power beyond what you can even possibly imagine. The word abracadabra, you've seen it on the Bugs Bunny cartoons. It means to speak into manifestation. Abracadabra. I will this forth by using words. It's the power of the English language. It's a powerful language. My God, it's powerful. Many spiritual avatars, like the man behind me, says that the English language is going to be the world language in the future. Pretty much is. I love reading definition because it takes all the noise out of what is being relayed. You can't argue with the definition. On a collective level, we all chose Webster's dictionary to speak for us for clarity, to help us to understand telepathy that is conveyed from one mind to the other mind via spoken word or written word. Either way, it's a transference of information from one soul to the other. It's collectively agreed upon. The definition of suicide. This has nothing, or it's not only limited by physical, taking your life in a physical way. Suicide definition, the act or instance of taking one's own life voluntarily and intentionally. Ruin of one's own interest. That's the one right there. Suicide control is the name of this presentation. Suicide, the definition. Ruin of one's own interest. One that commits or attempts suicide. So if we are inevitably moving towards our mortality, or the choices you are making in your life and settling for, are you killing yourself or are you dying gracefully? Being or performing a deliberate act resulting in the voluntary death of the person who does it. To put, parentheses, oneself to death. On any level, peace and control cannot coexist. Choose wisely. Whatever dynamic is taking place in your life, whatever situation, if you are trying to control it, you have no peace as to why you're trying to control it so you can get peace. Either way, peace is what you want, but your method of doing it is killing you. It's extinguishing the fire and the light of your spirit. It's killing you. And you have no peace. In fact, you feel like your life is in pieces. If you know anyone who is wrestling with emotional suicide, with suicidal thoughts, or in terms of emotional suicide, the extinguishment of one's life and quality of it on any level, to any level. Share this to you all. Share this with them. I have no doubt this presentation can save your life. Save your life meaning one who may be contemplating killing themselves, but also saving one's life to have them reach a higher plane of experience. I have a very powerful presentation for you tonight. Hi, Rena. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Lisa. Kelly, I saw you share. You rock, Kelly. Jennifer, Amy, Mylan, Denise, hi. Dagny, hi, beautiful Dagny. So I'm going to get down to the presentation. Here we go. I want to state an intention. Yanava, to my soul, to God, to align my words, my level of clarity, basically make me an instrument of peace, of understanding. Ya Nava, sound of the heart, is Ya. It's will, divine will, who we are at our essence. The mind is Na, it's intellect. And Va is the backbone, it's action. My intention was to align and make congruent with my soul this moment. So as I just made these gestures and made my intention known, I begin to feel it move inside of my body and inside of my consciousness. And I feel it taking over my words. Magically, beautifully, miraculously, gracefully, it becomes a part of who I am. It is who I am. It is who we all are. I just flexed that muscle enough to where I can merely shift. Tonight, we have a rock star in the house. And it ain't me. This is tonight's rock star. This beautiful man. His name is Sadhguru. It means earthly saint. He has awareness in 16 dimensions, all at the same time. What does that mean? What it means is right now, as you are aware of me in this presentation, that's one dimension. Tonight when you go to sleep, that's another dimension, different dimension entirely. When your eyes are open and you are awake and you daydream, that's two dimensions. You're awake and now you're daydreaming, two dimensions. At night when you go to sleep and you're dreaming and you become hyperlucid, you're living in two dimensions. That's two dimensions that we get very small glimpses of, and it takes practice. Sadhguru lives in 16 of them. Basically, he's a pillar of absolute divine light. Sadhguru is the rock star for the evening. He's on earth today, and his teachings are super fucking fantastic. Wow. He doesn't jack around. So I'm going to be playing some videos. If you're serious about experiencing this presentation, if you're not living your life to the fullest, ask yourself simply, are there aspects of my life that I'm killing myself? Because I have no peace. And I'm trying to use control so I can get what I want, so I can at last, or maybe for once in my life, feel peaceful. You're killing yourself. The light of your soul is going ever dim if this is your modality, your method. If you're here to experience a greater capacity of who you really are, and to illuminate to where you feel not just existing, but alive. You're tired of killing yourself with bad thoughts and bad emotions that can, for some, and has led some to their physical death, the taking of their life. No matter how much you try to escape from the pain, you can't. Suffering is always self-induced. Pain is a different story. You stub your toe, it hurts. Soul even knows that when you stub your toe, it hurts. Soul does not understand suffering. Stubbing your toe and being in pain is an absolute fact. It is a truth. Suffering is not. Let's move into the presentation as far as the videos. I have 3 of them. And for those out there, blessings to you, any of you who feel like you are just existing, that you're not heard, that you're being browbeat, that life is just kicking your ass. This presentation, this gesture of love from my heart is for you. Sadhguru. Hear the videos. Listen up.
You can determine your destiny, you should. That's what being human means. Actually, if you look at your life, you're not doing anything very greatly different from what the other creatures are doing. They are born, you are born, you grow up, they grow up, they reproduce, you reproduce, they die, you die. Nothing very different. But these same simple things, we can conduct them consciously. That is the significant thing about being human. Let's say you conduct your hand consciously, now this hand will do what you want, isn't it? You won't simply sit here and do like this. Now this hand will do what you want. Suppose you conduct your thought consciously, now your thought will do what you want. If your thought and emotion was taking instructions from you, you would keep yourself in the highest level of pleasantness, whatever that is. Your entire life process will come to an ease, total ease. When you say you're in pursuit of happiness, what this means is, you want all of them to function the way you want. Then you will be happy. Now when we say, if this happens, I will be happy, if that happens, I will be happy, what it means is, the world should function, the universe should respond your way. Right now this is because you're a crouching tiger. You have to go get something, always. There is nothing to get. If you sit here, your life is complete. When it's in this kind of ease, it will become perceptive. This is how you take charge of your life. Now you wish for something, it happened. I want you to know this. For most people, at least 50% of what they wish happens. It is just that they are focusing on a few things that did not happen. If you want to be fair, in a reasonably well-settled society, 90% of what they wish happens. It is the 10% they're complaining about. you tell me, it is easier to take charge of yourself or it's easier to take charge of all these people? Yourself. You must first do that, no? What is simple and easy? If you take charge of yourself, let us see how much we can get cooperation from these people. Situations are happening around us. Not all situations will ever happen the way we want it, because situation is not just me. Situation is so many people involved, so many forces involved. All of them need not happen my way. But if I am happening my way, I'm blissful. Now you are not in pursuit of your happiness, you are not tense about anything, there is no, sword hanging on your head. You will do everything to the fullest, to the hilt, because you don't care what happens. So what you want did not happen. Can you still sit here blissfully? That's a question.
I'm Harshita. My question to you is, what do you think about the concept of hell or heaven?
See, those who have made a hell out of themselves are always aspiring to go to heaven. Yes. If I am sitting here and I'm blissed out, totally, look at my eyes. It looks like I'm always stoned. Yes, never touched a substance, but this is the most complex chemical factory in the world. Is that so? Do you agree with me? The question is only, are you a great CEO or a lousy CEO of this chemical factory? If you were a great CEO, you would keep this all the time, blissed out, right chemistry. If you're a lousy CEO, you produce bad chemistry and you think it's because of this one or that one or that one. So, for some reason people are feeling miserable. Their chemical factory is not going the way they want. They can call it sadness, they can call it misery, they can call it depression. So, when this is feeling like hell, we hope that somewhere when we go up there, that everything will be fantastic. Harshita means, blissed out. So, this happened in Alabama. You know Alabama state? It's a special state. It's a different kind of state, hardcore religious state. So in a Sunday school teacher was going all out, full rhetoric, full force. And unfortunately, the audience were not like you, they were all tiny tots. It's a catch them young policy. In his full rhetoric, he was going and children were sitting like this. Suddenly he stopped for dramatic impact. He stopped and he said, "What do you have to do to go to heaven?" Little Mary in the front bench stood up and said, "If I mop the church floor every Sunday morning, I will go to heaven." Absolutely. Another little girl out there said, If I share my pocket money with my less privileged friend, I will go to heaven. Correct. Another boy said, if I help people who are in need, I will go to heaven. Correct. Little Tommy in the back bench stood up and said, "You gotta die first." Well, that's a qualification. If you want to go to heaven, you got to die first. So when you die, depending on your culture, we will either bury you or burn you or cut you and throw you to the birds. Yes, one of these things we will do, depending on your culture. So one thing is very clear, you will put your body back into the earth and it's a very eco-friendly thing to do. So you left your body and went to heaven. So, what is in heaven? In Hindu heaven, food is very good. If you are a foodie, you must go to Hindu heaven. Nala himself will cook personally for you. He's the greatest chef. If you go to another kind of heaven, white-gowned ladies will float around in the clouds. If you like that kind of ambience, you go there. If you go to another heaven, you will have virgin problems. If that's what you're looking for, you go there. But you went there without the body. What do you do with good food and virgins, I'm asking? Hello? So, we have been doing this for a long time. This was one simple way. You must understand the managerial skills of the traditional people. This was a way of managing humanity. You're miserable. You… don't worry, when you go there, everything will be okay. Solace, it's a psychological tool. It's fine when people are in extreme states, but don't brand it and sell it everywhere because it's not going to work like that. Why there is such an increase of consumption of alcohol and drugs on the planet is mainly because still people are not articulating it, but in their minds, heavens are collapsing. So now once human intellect became active, inevitably it'll ask questions. If you ask questions, these things will collapse. So people are trying to have alternatives right here, that they're getting drunk and drugged right here. To be healthy, they need chemicals. To be peaceful, they need chemicals. To be joyful, they need chemicals. For everything, they need chemicals. So if individual evolution in terms of becoming conscious doesn't happen, you will see 90% of the population will fall into chemicals. The next generation that we produce will be a generation which will be much less than who we are, and that's a crime against humanity. Every generation, the next generation that comes, must be at least one notch better than who we are. This is the time to raise consciousness, that's why we are here with you. To blow your mind without cocaine.
When certain youngsters face problems or difficulties like failures, breakups, loss, etc., a few go for drugs or alcohol instead of solving the problem and finding solutions. So I want to know, what is that one hope a person can cling on to even when he is fully shattered from within?
Oh, so many broken hearts here who are clapping their hands. So, when he is fully shattered, what can he do? The question is, do you want to allow yourself to be fully shattered? That's a question. And many things that don't work out in your early life, you will see later on, it is a great blessing. There are many ways to look at this. Let me tell you this. This happened in 1941. This is just when the Nazi movement was building up in Germany and in some parts of Europe. So one day in Austria, a bunch of German soldiers came, broke into the homes, the Jewish family, a rich family, they broke the home and took away the adults, everything was robbed. And these two children, a 12-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy, were taken away. They were taken to a railway station. This is the month of November end, December kind of time, when it's becoming very cold. So they were kept in the railway station for 3 days because the trains did not come. Boys, little boys being boys, they started playing football. So they were playing football and then suddenly the train came. The train is not a passenger train, it's a cargo train, the goods train. So when the train came, the soldiers came and rushed everybody into the wagons which are there. Everybody got in and the little boy and the girl also got in, but the little boy forgot to wear his shoes. He left his shoes outside and they pushed him into the wagon. So without shoes he came. His sister, a 12-year-old girl, saw her kid brother coming without shoes and she got mad with him. She held him by the ear, boxed his ears, scolded him nicely, slapped him. Said, "You idiot, already we are in enough trouble, now you come without shoes." Because in Germany in winter, no shoes means you may lose your feet. So she's angry about that. In the next station, the boys and girls were separated. After 4 years, after the war was over, she came out of the concentration camp to find 17 members of her family, including her little brother, all had vanished. No records, no sign of them, they just evaporated. At that time, the only thing that bothered her was the last few things that she said to her little brother. She loves her brother, but the last few things that she said to him were such terrible things, it rang in her mind and troubled her. These are the last things I told my brother, and after that I'm never going to see him, he's gone. So she took a vow. If I speak to anybody in my life, I will speak in such a way, if this is my last word, I will not regret. This one thing transformed her life in such a way. She went on to United States, she died in 2006, she did some phenomenal work, built a hospital somewhere near Chicago, I think. She lived a fruitful life. I'm saying, even if you're put through the most horrible situations, either you can come out using that experience as a better human being, or you can use the experience to become a horrible mess. So whenever something hurts you, there are two options. You can either become wounded or you can become wise. This is the choice. The more things hurt you early on in your life, the wiser you should have become, isn't it? But unfortunately, most people become wounded. This is simply because they just need an excuse to turn their own intelligence against themselves, that's all. Especially if the world around you turns against you, is it not very, very important that your intelligence stands up for you?
And finally, one more video.
So psychology and psychiatry has been infamously held by the neck because of pills. This is something that, has been like a raising concern in everybody's mind, because at least that stigma of going to counselors have fortunately come down a little, but the fact that people go to psychiatrists and the fact that they are prescribed pills is somehow still there.
You're telling me? I'm not rubbishing the science. I said, if things are going wrong with your life, it's bad enough. If you get depressed, you're only multiplying the problem. For this, the activists have been… You also? You also? Okay. Okay, I'll explain that. I very much understand. I'm closely associated with various people who are in the profession, and there are many people, because every day I'm meeting thousands of people, not everybody is perfectly sane, a lot of them go off, they need doctors' help, everything. It's not we're discounting that. But if you do not bring the fundamental responsibility in every human being that their physical and mental health is their business, if you do not bring this from an early age, you will see a lot more people will go off. Don't think everybody is pathologically ill, no. Those who are pathologically ill without medication for periods of time, they may not be able to come out at all. Some of them will never come out, that is also there, that's a different matter. But we are talking about all the fringe kind of madness, which all of us have. Something goes wrong, I can also drive myself into depression. I can also drive myself into depression. Something that I want doesn't happen. Everybody capable of driving themselves into depression, isn't it so? Is it possible or not?
So what you're saying is depression is not a choice? I mean, is that what you're saying? You think depression is a choice?
Please understand, there are some who are pathologically ill. It gets them in spite of themselves, but many of them push themselves into it. Suppose you get very angry, what is the expression you use? I'm mad at you. So consciously, willingly you're getting mad because you get some results in the society. If you keep trying it, because the line between sanity and insanity is so thin, if you push, one day you will cross. There are many people in the world who need not be ill, both physically and mentally, not just mental illness I'm talking. Both physically and mentally, they need not be ill. See, right now, for last 50 years, some millions of cardiac surgeries have been done. Today surgeons are clearly telling you, if you go off red meat, you eat the right food, if you exercise, you will not come for the surgery table. Is that against your cardiology? Why is psychology such an insecure profession?
Absolutely not. There's a certain diagnostic criteria for… So, I might be sad, I might be extremely sad, but that does not mean that I am depressed. I am entitled to my sadness.
See, please, who doesn't know this? Do I look so simplistic that I don't understand somebody is sad and somebody is depressed? But is it possible that many people push themselves into depressive states at certain times in their life, and the same people also came out in a determined way? Is it there? Thousands of them? Is it there or no? Yes. Many of them. So, if I say it is open, everybody need not end up with chemicals. Maybe it's against a particular profession, but we're talking for humanity.
Right. Thank you, Sadhguru. Although I don't think Anjali is fully convinced on the answers tangent. Questions?
How do you get fully convinced or not convinced on a fact? If it's your opinion, you can be convinced or not convinced. Is it a fact that many of you, I'm saying most of you are young, you have not seen much life, but even in this little life that you have seen, there were moments when you crossed your sadness and became depressed for a few days. Has it happened to you? And most of you have come out of it without anybody's help, or maybe with a friend or somebody who mentored you a little bit. Have you? These are facts, these are not opinions.
Hi Nori, hi Tiffany, Melanie, Lisa, Rena, Maria. One moment, I'm going to continue with the presentation. Carolyn, Glazier, Karen Cox, Robert. So we now have an understanding, an awakening to just how powerful we are, do we not? After listening to Sadhguru, God in the form of a human being on this planet today, a pillar of light, who has awareness in 16 dimensions, gave us all a very powerful piece of information through these 4 videos. If you are one who is bothered in your life by a situation, circumstance, event, and you're thinking about extinguishing your light, your life, driving yourself into depression about something that could be a gift that is awaiting you. The gift that is awaiting you can happen in the moment that you choose to be depressed but choose not to. Or it could take many, many years when you finally come out of the hole. I suggest the first. Because once you come out of the hole many years later, out of your depression, in hindsight, you will reflect back and say, oh my God, I am so wise because of it. Hello, Johan. Brenda. You could choose to click on the ellipsis that says notify me when Keith goes live. So let's continue with the presentation. Today I wrote hashtags for this presentation. And after I wrote the hashtags, I was like, wow, what talk points these are. So let's move into that segment. Welcome everyone who I've not met. My name is Keith Anthony Blanchard. I am your brother from another mother. And I love you whether I know you personally or not. I'm very serious about what I do. Title of this presentation is Suicide Control. Are you extinguishing your light and or your life by the nonsensical things that we have absorbed throughout our life? So how do you make sense of those nonsensical things? You don't. They're called nonsensical for a reason. There's no sense in it. Sense also as in currency, as in money, as in value. And it will never appreciate. But what will appreciate is you. When you see your own worth, your own value, then you begin to appreciate yourself. And then you appreciate, you expand and you grow. This life is about you. It's not about your loved one. It's not about your life spouse or your loved ones. It's not about your children. It's not about that. Keith, that sounds selfish. No, it does not. It's self-full. You have to be all that you can be for them first. Everything is a castle in the air, and it will drop eventually. This is not living, it's existing. And if you are simply existing, this presentation is for you. If you know someone who is wrestling with this, share it with them. It will change their existence to living. It also can stop their existing from taking their life. Here's the bullet point list that I use as hashtags. Let's talk about control. In any way, shape, form, or fashion on any level, control and peace cannot coexist. If you are in a controlling situation, no matter what it is, it's because you are not a peaceful human being. And you're trying to manipulate, mold, fashion everything on the outside to fit the script and the agenda or the narrative we're running. And we also often overlook the one place that the key, which is you, will fit into the door. That is when it gets really bad really quickly. Peace and control cannot coexist. Peace will let others control. But those who will want to control don't like it so much when others around them are absolutely, utterly blissed out and peaceful. Because it reminds them of the work that they are not doing on themselves to achieve what you have that they so want. Suicide is death on any level. Depression. Being depressed. Depress. What is depress? Have you ever seen a game or a sign and there's a button and it says depress? Sometimes it says press, but it's an interchangeable word. You depress a button. Same thing here. What depression is you using your thumb or your finger to depress. You're pushing on the light of your soul. You're turning the switch off is what you're doing. Instead, you can open up and say, Dear Lord, whatever this thing is that I at this moment see as ugly and dark, obviously I am not seeing it for what it is as you do and as you are. Because if you're presenting me with the situation and you are the light, this can't be dark. So it has to be me who is erroneously seeing. And in turn, I'm erroneously being. And there's definitely no way you can be lovingly free. Wow. And it throws you into darkness. I was in it for 2 years. And in hindsight, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Throws you into the abyss. And there's no way out. But let's change the word abyss to void. You're in the void. You're void of everything because the only place, truthfully, you have now to go is up. And the way you go up is you go in. In is the way out. In is the way out. In is the way out. But now that you're in this void, it's neutral. When these things happen in life that really want to it just really kicks your ass and it slams you. Now you're in a void. A very still void. And for most people, stillness is scary because they feel like they're falling. Good. That is an amazing thing. Fall. Let yourself fall. Don't start swirling the void around with the monkey mind's thoughts, which triggers the feeling base. And next thing you know, you're in a tailspin. And now the void is now swirling with all this emotional, mental goop. Because you will find yourself in the soup of what you have created. But in that void, instead, use the opportunity to recognize, oh my God, for once and for all, I am now in the quiet. Allow it to be there permanently. Because in that silence is where you will find the light. And you can snap out of your depression, whatever's bothering you, in a moment, in a holy instant. It will pull you out of your dark night of the soul. I was in it for 2 years. The subtitle of this presentation tonight is Ignorance Can Be Lethal. If you look at the banner that I used to advert this presentation tonight, you will see a hangman's noose. Whether we were taught everything we were taught, whether we chose to believe it and accept it as a truth, and you made your agreement with reality that this is the game, I'm going to play with it. It responds according to your will, your ya. And we use our na, the mind, to incite the game. But we have to take va, the backbone, the action. You can snap yourself out of it immediately. But the way you snap yourself out of it is by going in with it, being present with it, loving it, appreciating it for the gift that it is. It's God saying, I'm coming to you through what you think as dark, as the light, to give you the most valuable, precious thing that has ever been created. And that would be yourself. Despair. I have no hope. There's no hope for what's happening to me. Well, I hope that you truly see what's happening to you, because what you think is happening likely isn't, and what you think isn't likely is. Hi, Linda. Hi, Patty. Hi, Waverly. John, Esther. Do you understand? Do you feel me? So what is happening when anything in your life that is not peaceful is happening? It's the aspect of yourself that loves you so much. It's trying to help you move through the ego. What is the ego? Most people think ego is, that arrogant bastard over there is very egoistic. That's not what ego is. In fact, what ego is what you are not. It's the noise, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the job, the house, the bills. It's noise. I'm not saying it's not a part of your experience. What you think is happening likely isn't. What you think isn't happening likely is. We call these things our house. It's not really your house. What it is, hopefully it's your home. You call it your job. Hopefully it's not your job. That you see it as a way to become abundant and prosperous. But the job mentality is suffering. It's taking on something as to why you would choose a word to describe your task, calling it a job. This game is played on so many different levels. And that ego I just talked about does not want you to know that. It wants to keep you in prison. And guess who's doing it to you? As Sadhguru said, we go into depression by our own administration, by our own hand. And we administer. And we take on needless guilt and we get upset. Because depression is anger turned inward. God damn it, if you are fucking mad, scream it out. Punch a pillow. Run. Hit a punching bag. Whatever you gotta do. Don't keep it in because you think it's inappropriate to say, God damn it, I'm fucking mad. Notice if you say something like that, you feel better immediately. I'm not saying for you to act irresponsible and out of control. It's called controlled divine anger. It has a purpose in its life, in your life. So it's about understanding the ego. You cannot kill the ego. The ego will get louder. What you can do is look at it like a child that is acting up. You don't want to kill your child. Your ego is your child. It's your child mentality self that has not yet grown into spiritual adulthood. So why would you want to spank your ego child's ass? Why would you want to spank your real child's ass? It doesn't work. The ego gets louder and so will the child. As you hit the child will scream from pain. This game is played on many levels. And I see them. And I do these presentations because I want to empower you with the ability of sight so that you too may be able to see clearly the light. Ignorance is not bliss. Consciousness is. Ignorance can be lethal. Ask anyone who committed suicide. It's because of their ignorance about the truth and what reality really is. Ask anyone who is in depression, a dark night of the soul. They would not be in depression and experiencing a dark night of the soul if they weren't ignorant about truth and reality. Ignorance causes pain. If you're not aware of that piece of furniture in your house that your spouse bought while you were at work, you come home and the lights are off. Your ignorance of that piece of furniture and you smash your foot against that piece of furniture. Ignorance causes pain on all levels. It does. distress, worrying about what or will never be, what may never be, or what will be. It's not real. Suffering is a choice. Pain is a reality, an experience rather. Suffering is a choice. If you want to get out of pain, if you find yourself in an experience of pain, don't say, oh my God, this is so painful. Don't tell yourself that thought. Just see it as very intense energy. And because you didn't pigeonhole it to being pain, because that's all you're ever going to be, because that's what I'm telling you, you are, as you sit and hold your foot on the floor because you smashed your foot into that piece of furniture. Tell yourself, be with yourself, manipulate the energy that you're just very intense energy. Now you have pure raw power at your disposal to wield as you wish. Because it's now free energy. Free energy. Free to be done with as you choose. What brings about a lot of these situations that I have been talking about, and Sadhguru has been talking about? Procrastination. Some people know the truth and do nothing. Why? That's a question only that person can ask themselves. Why am I not taking steps towards my bliss? There's no right or wrong of it. It's just a fact of the matter. Why am I not leaning into what I deserve? What I came here to accomplish, being blissed out. If you one who procrastinates, it will never change. When people fall into these states of depression, despair, suffering, all due to ignorance, it's a call for help. It's a call for love. But that love is not going to come to that person in the way they might imagine. That's not what love is, nor is it love's narrative. Love comes in a way that they never have experienced to keep us out of systematic belief and into expansion mode. That's what love is. I want you to open up and flourish and bloom so you can see the essence of who you are, which is that light that people who go into depression extinguish. They depress themselves into depression. And it does not have to be that way. And they find themselves in loneliness. Good. That is where your most amazing growth will occur. You can never love yourself until you spend your time with yourself. Because for many people, when they are alone, all of it comes up and the monkey begins to chatter. What can I go do? Who can I go do? How can I do? It starts talking. This is a good thing. Is that when you sit alone and the monkey starts talking. Because through contrast, at last you will finally be able to see you are one noisy son of a bitch. I am onto you now. I see you for who and what you are. In fact, it's not even a who. It's not who you are. I see you for what you are. Or it's not even a you. I see what's happening, rather. And as you see, you disassociate from thinking that you are your thoughts and your feelings. But now you, with perception pulled back, will no longer allow yourself to fall into lack because you see those noisy things moving through your experience like rain, thunderous clouds. Let's talk about death. The title of this presentation tonight is Suicide Control. Ignorance can be lethal. Let's talk about death. You are dying right now. Since we were born, we are all taking steps toward the inevitability of our mortality. Are you killing yourself, or are you dying gracefully? There is no escape from your mortality. Why rush it by worrying and living in fear and emptiness? This is not the path to wholeness. It's not the path that was meant and designed as to why you came here. So you only have a choice in, I can get busy living or I can get busy dying. Do those things that you promised you would. Stop procrastinating. Do it to the hilt. Death is not that which it seems. If you find yourself in depression, loneliness, distress, all these different modalities on the lower levels of being, that means what you know as you has come to the end of the road. You have been dying for a while, and you finally reached the road's end, and that aspect of you is dead. And trying to revive that dead horse goes nowhere, of course. But we do it anyway. So if you find yourself in despair, in depression, and alone, and everything is dark, it's because you have been existing and not living. And that road always comes to an end. And that aspect of you is dead. That's why you're feeling depressed, because something for you has died. We know about death, and when someone around us dies, we go into depression. You are dying because the road that you have been walking for so long has ended. But the road, the path that you came here to live never ends. Never. It never ends. So your life is so delicious and so beautiful and so expansive and so infinite. The death road comes to an end. It's called depression. If you stay there and you don't look for the new path. But if you stay at the end of the road and sit and mope because the road is ended, you will be in depression. But the road to life, you are so valuable that it never ends. Your bliss gets greater and greater and greater and greater and greater and greater to infinity. It never ends, ever. If this does not transform you, what I am sharing with you, if it's not motivating you, I have concern that you are taking your life in a very dark way. I know my words are clear because I feel spirit reverberating within my temple. Because I made a gesture at the beginning of this presentation to say, make me an absolute channel of your peace. Help me to speak clearly and articulately, and to use your words as you would have me to do. And I share with you that what you think is happening isn't. What you think isn't happening is. Let that old you die. Let the old world, the old paradigm die. Because in the silence, in that void, in the end of the road, if you allow it, the new world will suddenly appear, and you will say to yourself, dear Lord, is this what I've been missing my whole life? And God will say, welcome home. Let that aspect of you die gracefully. Don't keep digging up the dead you in the coffin out of the ground. It's ended. Whatever it may be in your life, bury it. Give it a beautiful celebratory blessing as you bury it. Don't grieve and loss over it. Celebrate and bless and gain because of it. If it's dead, bury it. Place flowers around it as you do a loved one. And this should be you, the one that you truly love. Surround yourself with beautiful flowers and celebrate that death in your life. You haven't lost anything. Nothing. I've lost 2 siblings and my mother. But I haven't lost them. They just became invisible. And because I'm open to the truth, now I know that they're around me. So now that I know they're around me, because they can't violate my free will, they can now say, Keith's open. They connect, and I no longer feel the disconnect. I don't feel the loss. I don't feel the grief. I don't feel this self-induced suffering. Ask Veda. She had her son pass recently. Dear Lord, and I watched this lady. And I'm grateful to her. I watched her unfold like a flower. And she taught me something very valuable. Because she understood early in the game as he passed. And it was fresh, so to speak. She fell into that void. That still place. Instead of kicking up the mud in that place. And created an erroneous unconscious swirling. She chose to use the silence and the emptiness of that void and to move into something that's powerful beyond the life of her son that left this world altogether. She's bridged her earthly existence to her son who is on a spiritual plane, is what she did. Now she feels no disconnect. So she will tell you herself that she didn't lose her son. But through her son's generosity and sacrifice and gift to her, that she expanded even more so into the fullness of who she is, by the fullness of who he is while he is on that spiritual plane. You follow these models, and you will begin to fall into peace. Instead of falling into pieces. And as you get comfortable in your peace, something else will begin to happen. You will begin to open up, as Veda said. Pain is not here to hurt you, though pain feels like it hurts. Like I told you, what you think is happening isn't, and what you think isn't is. Pain, you might be painful, but its narrative, its agenda is not to cause you pain. It's to open you up. And as you become peaceful, something else begins to happen. In your opening up of self, the lower self, dear Lord, the higher, grandeur self, the soul, God, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Allah, Nanak, your deceased grandmother who you've loved as you would God itself because she was just a beautiful light, begins to step into your experience, and you no longer feel lonely. You no longer feel disconnected. You no longer need anyone or need anything. It sounds like, Keith, it's cold that you're disconnected. It's not disconnecting from those who you love. It's connecting to who you love and should love most, first and foremost, which is yourself. And in so doing, now you really have a depth of love that you can really offer to those people, everyone around you, simply by allowing them to be their own beautiful self. So we don't have to control them to have our peace, because peace and control cannot coexist. Ever. Is the world peaceful? Many are. Is humanity peaceful? No, it's not. Why? Because by factions and other narratives, we are being controlled. So what begins to happen once you begin to fall into constant peace is what every being in the entire universe's omniverses longs for. What would that be? That would be liberation from your egoic self. Liberation from the self-induced suffering. Liberation from the darkness that we have created and or believed was truth. If you're such a one, stop procrastinating. Move into the light. Move into the truth. Become illuminated. I'm going to share one more bullet point with you. I'm going to take a very small break, and I will be taking questions and or comments. And I will also be looking at the ones that are here. If you would, please, maybe leave me one in the shortest possible way to write it out. I mean, don't give me shorthand so I don't understand your point of your question. But don't give me a paragraph, because people may want to chime in, and I want to get to everyone. So I'm going to be right back after I give you this final... No, I won't. I'm going to be right back. Let me put on some music. Take a commercial break. I'll be right back. Final bullet point. All these things I talked about tonight, I'm going to go through the gamut. Title of the presentation is Suicide Control. Peace and control cannot coexist. You try to control, you're not peaceful. If you're peaceful, you don't want to control anything. Talking about control, suicide, depression, darkness, the abyss, the void, dark night of the soul, despair, ego, ignorance, pain, distress, suffering, procrastination, a call for love or a call for help, loneliness, death, dying, grief, loss, peace, liberation, and finally, we're to the bullet point of what this is all about. Everything that has ever been created, that which exists now, and that which will forever possibly be created, has to do with one thing. It has to do with you. All of it. There is nothing else. When you find yourself in a dark night of the soul, the you that loves you when you don't love yourself so well is literally reaching to you and saying, give me your hand. It wants to pull you out. Actually, it wants to lift you up. But we have to go in to do that. The way out is in, and is up. The way out is in, and is up. It's you. Not anything else, not anyone else. It's you. From my bestseller, The Divine Principle. Then I'm going to get to the Q&A. God and I are having a dialogue for 8 years. You can purchase this book on my website at keithanthonyblanchard.com. Click the Creations tab, or you can use centeroflightradio.com. Click the Creations tab. For those who purchase my book, I will give you a free session on top of it. Thank you for the beautiful idea, Linda. I appreciate it greatly. Spirit says to me in a meditation, as you endeavor to see and be my miracle, you will come across many keys that fit many doors, but only one will release you from the emptiness that you feel. I say to Spirit, which one is it? Knowing something's up. God says, the one that opens the door leading to the void where miracles can happen. I know you feel intimidated, but I assure you that if you are willing to go through hell to get to heaven, the divine that occupies these seemingly empty spaces will be revealed to you. Spirit says, I see you wanting, all of you, to get higher, but as the many aspects of your life are becoming finalized, I also observe the fear that is causing you to resist the changes that are taking place. My children, change is inevitable! Exclamation point. Just wait and see. The more you close the old doors of your life, the more the new ones will open. I want to read one more thing for you. Spirit says, I ask Spirit, what have I really been seeking all this time? Spirit says, what you have been longing for is your own internal life fire, passion. But because until recently, Keith, you were looking for love in all the wrong places, you have always fallen short of fulfillment. Your obsession with things external has taken over and left you feeling unguided and alone. Your belief in lack has driven your ego wants, urges, and addictions. By overlooking the spirit within yourself, you have been unable to fully realize that it is you alone who have held the key to your own bliss. What I just offered you through this presentation tonight is such powerful spiritual information. What will you do with it? If what I am offering has helped you, or you know is going to help someone, to keep my work supported and erect, go to centeroflightradio.com or keithanthonyblanchard.com and leave a donation. There's no dollar amount. It's not about that. It's about being plugged into something that is moving, a river of abundance. And abundance has nothing to do with currency, but your life is a currency. Let me get to the questions and comments. Let me scroll up. I have no intentions of ever leaving anyone out. Sometimes that live feed, that real-time feed moves so fast, I can't keep up with it because it disappears into the thread. Dorothy says, let's all rise and kick that non-existence to the curb. See ya. Done with that. Dorothy said, thank you, Guru Keith. Blessings. Tiffany says, I love my friend Johan. Hey, buddy. Rena says, beautiful. So are you, Rena. Always know that. Mike, how you doing, buddy? Athena. She forgot about the time zone. Tiffany says, I love you, my friend Keith. I am grateful to you. Without you, y'all, that's my southern, y'all, I wouldn't be here. That's true for all of us. Zveta says, thank you for saying all this. I love you. That's why I call out everyone's name at the beginning of a presentation and or during. When you go to school as a child and a teacher says, Johnny, you say here, 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 or you say present. That's why when I do roll call, is to call you out, call you in, to call you into my fold so we can connect. And together we become present. Because the power of unity is so magnificent. Oh my God, it is so powerful. Unity. So I want to be connected with you. And you and me. And in that connection is the love we have for each other. That is divine power. Because divine power does not exist on its own. Divine power is all inclusive. That's why God can make miracles. God is not separate from the miracle. He doesn't wave his hand and this little fairy dust makes something come about. It's because he's changing an aspect of himself. I want this water to be wine. So he changes the aspect of himself that is water and it becomes wine. There is no spoon, Neo. Dorothy says, I love this broadcast. Zveta says, I would love to do a show with you on this. Yes, Zveta. I'm going to out of town. I promise. When I get back, we're going to set that up. Brenda says, would love to be able to connect with my son. I hear you. And I never want to ever devalue your idea, love. But since you brought it up, and because I love you, I want to connect with you so I can extend this valuable light and just put it right into your heart space. Just like that. First, start by understanding that you are not disconnected from your son. And you may say, well, yeah, I understand, Keith. That was just a simple wordplay. If the word came out without a doubt, some part of you is still leaning into the disconnect. Oh my God, am I truly that connected to him, Keith? I'm telling you, you are the same being. You are the same family unit. Unit meaning one. He is so close to you. You are so close to he. You are inseparable. It's impossible to separate. Live your life. Lean into this way. And soon, one day, you will feel the link. You might even hear it click, clink. If you want to connect consciously with your son, Brenda, contact me when I get back next week. I'd love to work with you. John Wright, my bro ham sandwich. John, I love the fact that you're out playing, living your passion, playing guitar. Boy, you could sing, dude. God dang, you could sing. Bro, you can like really, really sing. I love it. Hello, Fredina. Let me see if I can pronounce this beautiful being's name correctly. Porawa? Porawa Pri Hapakuku. Oh, I love that. Porawa Pri Hapakuku. Are you Hawaiian? You already have my heart. You're Hawaiian. I love Hawaii. I was in there in the year 2000. I'm not sure if that's where you're from, so I don't want to assume. But blessings and hello to you. Did I pronounce your name right? If I pronounced your name right, give me an exclamation point. Porawa pre or pre hapa kuku. Melanie says, low point completed. Dark night of the soul is over. Starting over in new area, no idea what's ahead. I love that you have no idea what's ahead, because that's when the magic can happen. I was never alone. Not 1 second in her aloneness, she wasn't lonely. Change is inevitable. Zveta says, I have a question for you, Keith. For me, is very relevant in the moment to stay in the presence of someone suffering and not wanting to change the suffering. I do understand the concept of not it yet is that energetic pull that I'm very close to my father. Zveta, if you're telling me or sharing with me the relevance it's tough for me for anyone to stay in the presence of someone who is choosing suffering, who is not wanting to change it, or maybe doesn't know how. And we use all of our might and all of our beautiful words, but they don't understand because it doesn't flip that switch. I do understand, she says, I do understand the concept. Yet it is that energetic pull that I'm very close to my father. In fact, as I said to Brenda, you are so close to your father. He's the one that probably wrote this paragraph about the father. You are the father is you. Your father is you and you are your father. As to why you brought this up. That is how close you are to your dad. Hi, Princess. Zveta, you want to talk more about... I'm not sure if there are two messages in your comments, your paragraph to me, or if they're one and the same. But if there are two, one is about helping someone who is choosing suffering, and the other one is about you and your dad. Either way, if it's the latter, it's about your dad, and you want to dialogue with me at some point, just to be a sounding board for you, I would love it. I'm trying to see if Porawa Prehapakuku, if I said the name right. I'm looking. Please let me know. Am I pronouncing your name correct? It's important to me that I know that. Poraway. Thank you for your beautiful... She said, you're welcome. Says, I wish I was Keith. No, I am Maori from New Zealand. You said my name okay, but Pri will do. Hi, Pri. Continuing down the list. And after I get to the end of these comments or questions, I'm going to let Spirit speak. Stick around. It's always juicy. So as I continue down the list, hi Mary, hi Donna, hi Vincent. I love it. Princess says, I did not forget about the time zone. I've been doing dad prayers. Dad prayers meaning talking to dad, the cosmic dad. God, I love it. It's just been a phase she's dealing with, Princess. Shared. Thank you for sharing. Princess says everyone loves Keith Anthony Blanchard, and Keith Anthony Blanchard loves them equally. Zveta says, please put a link here for donation. I just put a link to my website. On the opening page, there's a donate button. Thank you. Continuing with the questions and comments. I'm not sure if these are in order. Facebook can be a little out of order, you think? Sometime. Brenda says, I will contact you, Keith. I miss my son so much. I hear you. Natalie says, when I was small, someone asked me if I sang with my mom. I said no because I did not want to show off like her. I saw you today, and it would be an honor to sing with you one day. Make it happen. I'm open to the idea. I love your idea. However that can happen, I'm open. My friend from New Zealand, all right, we just did that one. She says, Sveta says, yes, it's about my father. I'm with you, sis. I'm here to support you. Athena says, I work for hospice. I deal with death. At first, it was so hard, but now when death comes, I can feel God's omnipresence, and death is a blessing. Paramahansa Yogananda, spiritual guru, says that death is truly a blessing. We drop all of this weight, bodily, emotional, mental weight. Then, continue with Athena, then siblings want to die. I have to talk them out of it. Siblings of the one who dies wants to die because it feels so horrible. And Athena says she has to talk them out of it. I feel pressurized and need drink of God's sweet nectar. Thank you, Jai. Jai meaning, I think Jai means victorious one. Hi, Corey. I have to roll the R. Properly pronounced, need to roll the R. Porewa. I love it. Corey says, feeling overheated on my forehead. You can always send that energy, Corey, to other parts of your being. It doesn't have to be so concentrated. Use your will, bro. Use your will and grab it. Use your spiritual arm and grab it and spread it out your being. Smooth it out, so to speak. Zveta sends me a fairy. Facebook love. Angela Cretini, what's up, dear? Hi, Lisa. Hi, Cajun Mama. Athena, you're welcome. Hi, Jackie. Corey says, a lot going on. I'm feeling very moody. I understand everyone's different. Hi, Mars. My bro. Good to see you, Mars. I understand everyone is different. But the law does not budge for anyone. Though everyone is different, the playing field is even. I understand that people may have a disposition to be in moods more than others. Well, Keith, the pharmacy in my body, as it moves throughout my system, makes me feel this way. Yes, it does. But the real truth is, because you feel this way, the pharmacy in your body began to work. So the moodiness is not necessarily because of your body chemistry. Your body chemistry is because of your moodiness. Hello, Francis. My brother, I miss you. Tiffany says, Soul is telling me to write a song with you. Sounds like a wonderful title as well. Soul, I want to write a song with you. Intend that. Tell that to your soul. Soul, I want to write a song with you. And watch the beauty that comes out of you, Tiffany. And if no one else sees it, it doesn't matter. It's going to be something that is beautiful, real, and solid for you. It's going to be your own theme song. It's your song, is it not? Does not everyone have music moving inside of them? Don't let your song die. Don't die with your song still in you. Play it loud on your spiritual stereo, because the stereo will play regardless, all the same. Are you putting on a love song? Are you putting on the song Happy? Or are you putting on the blues or a sad song? The stereo will play just the same. You're welcome, Tiffany. Everyone, thank you. Athena, it's something to do with Gunas as Swamji. LOL. He will explain about those moods. I love you. I'm always here. Share this hour and 37-minute presentation with someone you care about, who may be contemplating suicide on any level for anything. Take them out of existing and into a space of absolute living. You will feel the reward by taking them off of the pitch. Suicide is not only about taking your physical life. Suicide, control, is when you take charge of your life and stop killing yourself with your thoughts and your emotions. Basically, let that self die. You don't have to revive it. What you need to revive is you. The you you've lost contact with and became unconscious. And what I say all the time is, unconsciousness always brings trouble. Ignorance always brings pain. Take what I am offering, and you too shall gain everything that I have explained. And out of pain you will soar, and into your soul you will bore. And I'm your brother, and I love you, dear Lord, forevermore. Live in the blessed light.
do you realize? See inside, see the light and do you